Hello and welcome to a new episode of Soul Alchemy, your podcast to help you remember your true power and unfold all of your potential. So, today we are going to talk about how quantum architectural work can support you in your process of creating the life of your dreams and help you in remembering your true power, reclaiming your soul power and unfolding your potential. So let's start with becoming clear on the terms that we are using in this episode. The first of them is quantum. So, for those of you who have not worked with the term quantum field yet, who are not familiar to that term yet, I want to make it very clear what it is that we're talking about when we're talking about the quantum field and we're talking about quantum. So, according to scientific terms, like if we're going into physics, the quantum is the smallest particle that exists in the universe. But more than that, the quantum can be expressed as a wave or a particle. So it is flexible, it is changeable, it changes as the observer sees it. It becomes that which the observer is expecting. There has been the so called split experiment where quantum particles have been sent through a split, and where depending on what the observer was expecting, they either, when they arrived on the other side of that split, were showing themselves as particles or as waves. So if you want to find more about that, then research the split experiment. I am not a scientist, so I'm not that good with explaining it, but if you want to know more about it, this experiment, you can find everything online. It's called the split experiment. And so what was found out was that quantum particles are not fixed. They are not fixed into their form, but they're flexible. They depending on what the mind of the observer expects, they become what is expected. And so, what does that tell us? Well, it tells us one thing: the quantum field, which is the field in which everything exists. And at the same time, it is the field in which nothing exists. It is the space from which everything is birthed. Everything is coming from this quantum field and is created within this quantum field. And at the same time, it is the space everything returns to when it loses its material form. Because it is the original space, it is the womb of creation. It is the space of infinite possibilities, the energetic space from which everything comes into form. And so, as we watch and observe quantum particles in our physical reality, what we learn is the quantum field is influenced, or better said, how quantum particles behave, or quantum waves, how the quantum behaves, depends on the mind of the observer, on consciousness. So the quantum field is formed and shaped. The possibilities, since the quantum holds endless possibilities, any of these can come into form. And the question, which of the possibilities will actually come into form, the answer to that depends on the consciousness of the observer, the consciousness of the individual engaging with the quantum. So, when we know how to utilize our consciousness, our mind, our awareness within the quantum field, we can bring anything into form from the quantum field, depending on our consciousness. And our consciousness is not only our mind. That is a very big mistake that I see being made in the world, that everyone thinks your consciousness is your mind. No, your consciousness is so much more than that. Your consciousness is your mind, your energy field. It is your emotions. It is even your physical body, because the soma holds a lot of wisdom and a lot of consciousness. So your consciousness is defined by what I call the three pillars of our being: the mind, the body, and the energy, which includes the emotions. which then form your consciousness on several different levels: your energetic consciousness, your intellectual and mind related consciousness, and your somatic consciousness. And based on based on which signals your consciousness sends into the quantum field, your reality shifts and transforms according to that. And so what we can do when we work with the quantum is we can create specific blueprints within the quantum field, within our own quantum field, our soma, our mind, and our energy body, that then manifest into our reality. And when I talk about quantum architecture, this is exactly what we're doing. We are accessing the quantum reality, the dimension of quantum reality, which is the dimension in which we architect reality. So there's several dimensions to the quantum field, like the quantum field is in every dimension. Let's make it short. But depending on which dimension we are accessing through our consciousness, we are working on different planes of the quantum. And the more manifest the plane of the dimension is that we are working in, the more the matter has already formed and materialized, the more difficult it is to change the quantum. Like, you are trying to change the matter, to change the energy. And it's kind of like, how do I explain that best? I'm going to use simply the explanation of how we're building a house. So, there is several dimensions of the quantum field. And the quantum field dimension that I'm talking about, that I work in when we're doing quantum architecture, is the dimension of the architects of reality. This is the dimension in which the blueprints are created. And when we compare that to the idea of building a house, when you want to build a house, you first go and you hire an architect, which paints you a blueprint according to what you desire, what you want your house to look like. He paints you a blueprint for your house, which is the blueprint you're going to use to go to a construction company with. And then you're going to tell them, I want you to build that house for me. Make me an offer. Okay, so the picture you can have in mind is that the quantum field dimension of the architects of reality, the architecture of reality that I work in when we're doing this kind of work, that we work in when we're doing this kind of work of quantumly architecting our reality, is the same as if you would go to an architect and let him paint you a blueprint. You are creating the blueprint for the house you want to build, or for the reality you want to build. And so what happens is that you then take that blueprint and you bring it to your construction company, which is your consciousnesses, your different levels of consciousness, which is your mind, your body, and your energy body, your energy field. And you then click that into your system, like you would give it to the construction company, and they would say, okay, this costs this and this much. If that's a good offer for you, we're going to do it. And then they're going to hire the people that are needed. They're going to say, okay, we need this many people doing this many people doing this many people doing this and this material. They bring it all together and they start building your house. And so when you start clicking that energetic blueprint you created in the quantum field into your consciousnesses, which is your construction company, your mind, your body, and your energy field, your energetic intelligence and emotional intelligence, what happens is that these are the different people that are gonna construct your reality for you, the house that you want to create. And they're going to bring in the different material that you need. And so when you click that in, your mind starts aligning with that. Your mind gets the blueprint and starts aligning in its thinking, in its consciousness, in the way that it perceives and interacts with the world according to the blueprint, so it can make the blueprint a reality. The same for your body. It starts aligning with that blueprint so it can construct that structure for you. And the same with your energy field, your emotional field. It starts creating that reality because it will follow that blueprint. And so, what happens along the way is like when we build a house. So, let's say we have started building that house now. And then on the ground that you want to build it on, the land you want to build it on, the construction company notices that there is something. For example, they're starting to dig the hole to build the cellar, and they're seeing, oh, there is something underneath. Let's say there is an unexpected water source, or like an underground river under your house, or there is a stone layer that is unexpected, or there's other things that are unexpected that need to be moved out of the way or changed. So the landscape needs to be adapted so you can build that house and it can stand solidly and it can last. And so the same thing will happen within you when you work with quantum architecture. Once the blueprint is clicked in and your systems start moving in accordance, what will happen is that those things that need to be moved out of the way for your consciousness to build that house, to build that project, to build that reality on all levels of your existence, everything that's in the way will come up for you to resolve and remove and get it out of the way so that the reality you are going to build, that you are building through your different levels of consciousness, is actually able to be solid and last and really align with all of you. So I love this quantum work because instead of having to go dig for what's standing in our way and like figure out why is it that I'm still not able to do this, why is it that I'm still not haven't created that yet in our reality, how we experience it with many manifestation methods where we're saying, okay, let's just manifest and we imagine this every day and then it's going to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and we're like going into this healing spiral where we think like we need to fix something about ourselves. I need to look at myself where I am still having some stories, where I have to find out where I'm still standing in my own way of manifesting that, and we start digging and we start looking for things to fix. And I see people getting stuck in that so often. They want to manifest something, and then the fixing process appears, like it doesn't work, so they're gonna go look for things to fix that need fixing so they can create what they desire to create. And then they go into that spiral of fixing, 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 and they never come out of it because there's always something else to fix. And if you don't know exactly which exact things you need to remove for what you desire to create to come into reality, you will keep on finding things to fix about yourself. You will keep on finding things. And you might fix a lot of things that are actually having nothing to do and they're not standing in the way at all of what you desire to create. And there's nothing wrong with fixing those things. Don't get me wrong. It's great that you heal yourself. But if you are stuck in the fixing process, you will not start creating. You will not start thriving. You will be stuck in the fixing. And so, what I love about working with quantum architecture is that it pinpoints us exactly to those few things that need healing and resolving for us to start creating. And when the blueprint, it's kind of like, I'm trying to find the right comparison. It's kind of like as if the construction people would have to look at what's to be resolved before the house can be built blindfolded. Like, it's gonna be probably very hard to impossible to get to the point where they can actually build the house. Well, the same is true when when we're getting stuck in a fixing spiral. We're blindfolded. So we cannot really remove the true obstacles. And so we might remove 50 obstacles. But the free obstacles that we actually would have had to remove to achieve what we wanted to achieve, we haven't even found yet. And so the great thing about quantum architecture is that it pinpoints you exactly to those obstacles that are standing in the way of creating what you want to create. And so you will know exactly which things to resolve to move forward on your path. And so that is really amazing. And that really allows us to bring into form what we desire in a much quicker way, because then we remove exactly which the obstacles we need to remove. We resolve, we heal those parts, and then we can actually focus on building and creating that reality that we desire. And that can then happen with so much more ease and grace as this process becomes so natural, since this becomes the blueprint of our being, the blueprint of our mind, of our soma, of our body, and of our energetic field and of our emotional field. Since this then is the blueprint, well, the energy will not flow in a different way. It will flow, it will follow that blueprint. The energy will flow in alignment with that blueprint. So our reality will flow in alignment with that blueprint, and creating that blueprint and manifesting it, because we, as the observer, as the consciousness, is expecting this blueprint, is expecting this reality. Just like in a split experiment, when the quantum particles become a wave because the observer expects the wave, just like that, the quantum particles will arrange to create that reality that we desire, or that house that we want to build, you could say, because we are expecting them to. We are fine tuned, we are programmed through that blueprint that we installed through quantum architecture to expect this reality, this house. And so the quantum particles, as they follow the expectation of the observer, of the consciousness, will align to create this reality for us. And so this is what is so amazing. That doesn't mean it happens overnight. Depending on how big the thing is that you want to create, it might take some time. But it happens. It's unavoidable that it happens, because this has become your new blueprint. This has become the expectation of your consciousness, and the quantum field aligns to that. And so that is why I love working with quantum architecture as a part of our process of creating the life of our dreams. Of course, then there is also the part where we need to then resolve things, we need to heal things, we need to shift things as they come up, as the obstacles show themselves that need to be let go of course. And we have been talking about that. But the base, the foundation of working with quantum architecture is just such a shortcut. It's such a shortcut. And not as in we're not dealing with what needs to be dealt with. Of course we do. But there we are following the design of the universe. The universe has a process of creation, as a process of creating itself. And the natural way of the universe creating itself, or following the universe's nature in that case, is to materialize from the quantum according to the blueprint, or according to the consciousness of, to the blueprint that the consciousness holds. Sorry, now I got a bit mixed up. So the universe creates in accordance to what the blueprint that the consciousness holds expects. And so by using quantum architecture in the way that we work and in the way that we create our realities, what we are doing is we are following this law of the universe, this natural process of creation. And when we follow the natural process of creation, well, it is so much easier. It is so much more lighthearted and graceful and easeful, and it's so much faster, because We are going with the flow of nature. We are going with the flow of the universe, how it's meant to create. We are following the natural path of creation. In comparison to what I see a lot of people trying to do in the world, which is going the other direction. Like, I'm a horse rider, so I like to use the comparison of saddling up the horse from the backland. Um, but yeah, so I see a lot of people trying to change their physical reality and the material form and what happens around them to change their quantum. And that, of course, is super hard and super difficult and close to impossible and rarely ever works out because it's against the natural flow of creation. The natural flow of creation is change the quantum, energetically align the blueprint with your consciousness, and let your consciousness create the reality, the material form. See it unfold. So when we're trying to change the material form, our material surroundings, our material reality, to change our consciousness, to change the way we feel, to change the way we think, to change the way our bodies react, to then change the quantum field and the quantum blueprint. Well, that's gonna be a hard act. Like, that's not easy. That's not easy. And more than that, most of the time, it's impossible. Like, I cannot guarantee that it's always impossible because I don't know everything. Maybe it worked. Maybe people found ways to make it work, or they unconsciously did on a different plane, did it the other way around and it worked. But I don't want to claim that it never works. I can just tell you it's a lot harder and a lot of a longer road, that's for sure, because it doesn't follow the natural flow. It's swimming against the current and not in a good way. And that's why I love working with quantum architecture when it comes to changing lives, when it comes to helping my clients create the realities that they desire, because this quantum architectural work just goes with the natural flow of the universe, the natural flow of creation, and makes it so much easier for us. And so, yeah, if you want to compare the going the other way, like swimming against the current with building the house, it would be like I'm trying to build a house without a blueprint, without an idea what it's supposed to, how it's supposed to be built, and I'm just gathering raw materials and a few people that I think could build a house where I don't even know if their skills align with the house I want to build. And so I have this idea of the house that I want to build, and all I have to do it is like some raw materials I could find where I don't know if they're gonna be the right materials for the house I built since I don't have a blueprint. And some people that I think might be able to build a house, and I don't know if they have the skills to build the house that I want. And then I'm trying to build a house out of that. Well, it's gonna be really hard. Might even say impossible that I get the house that I actually desire from that. We might end up being able to build some sort of house. Yeah. Probably it's not gonna be what I wanted. It's not gonna look like I wanted it to look. And so that's what we see when we're trying to create our realities from the material realm. We are creating in a way that doesn't allow us to receive exactly what we want to receive. Because as long as we create from the material realm, it's like trying to build a house out of whatever material I can find around me and whichever people I can find around me. And then wanting with that material and those people to create the house of my dreams with my where I have the exact idea of it in my head without a blueprint. Same when we're trying to create reality from the material realm. So, yeah, I hope that got you thinking. I hope that maybe brought you something new. Maybe you know that all of that already and it was just a reminder. Well, Whichever is the case, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it brought in a bit more clarity on why I'm using quantum architecture in my work and what quantum architecture truly is. And yeah, if you feel inspired to dive into that topic yourself and you want to learn how to use quantum architecture in your own life to create the realities that you desire, then I wholeheartedly invite you to my new group program, Quantum Leap, which is an 8-week immersion into your next level starting January 24th, 2024. And in this program, we're going to focus on using the process of quantum leaping to create something that you desire, to create your own next level, to support your own evolution. And we're going to work with quantum architecture. Of course, we're going to work with quantum architecture. We're also going to work with the process of using the 3 pillars of your consciousness to resolve and let go of that which doesn't serve you anymore, and like really align with the blueprint of your new reality. So we're going to build a whole reality for you in that process. We're going to have 4 modules, which going to consist of a teaching, and then a quantum process where I'm going to guide you through quantumly architecting that which you desire, that next level that you desire to experience. And then always also an embodiment practice where we're going to address everything that needs to be resolved in your consciousnesses. And yeah, and we're going to have some Q&A time, always, of course. So each module is spread over 2 weeks, and yeah, this is going to really give you the tools to create any reality that you desire for yourself. And it's going to also give you the tools on how to navigate this process of initiating a quantum leap, initiating this next level of yourself, finding out what it really is that you desire within this next level of yourself, initiating it, then facilitating it and bringing the whole process into starting the whole process and what you need to watch out for there, and then how to navigate it, what comes up, how to hold yourself in that awareness and in that alignment with that process, and how to land it successfully so that your new reality, your new self, the new version of yourself can really click in, and you can hold it and you can navigate it and you can actually enjoy it. So this is the process that we're going to go through in this program together. And you're going to get tangible tools. You're going to be taught the exact process of quantumly architecting your reality and bringing it into physical form, into your physical experience, into the full experience of your consciousness. And from there, it can then manifest naturally. And so that's what we're going to do in this program. And you're going to get amazing tools. And the coolest thing about this program is that the tools that you're going to get within it, you cannot just use once as we're going through that process, because I'm going to guide you through a quantum leaping process, through a process into your next level within the program. But you cannot only use those tools once. Those are tools that you can use over and over and over and over again, as long as you desire, as often as you desire, to make an evolution like that, to make a quantum leap like that. And so this is really like, this is knowledge that will serve you a lifetime long. Like, this is the gift that keeps on giving. And that's why I love this program so much. I can't wait to facilitate it for you. And if this is your call, if you feel like this is your place to be, this is where you need to be beginning of next year, so you can make it your year, and you feel really called, then send me an email, contact me via social media, or whichever way feels right to you, because currently we're still having this I'm still having this program on pre-launch, so there is no purchase site for that. There's no website for that yet. And as it's still in a pre-launch phase, you're getting a super amazing pre-launch deal. So the program is 444 euros for the whole 8 weeks, including the recordings, which we will have for at least a year. And on top of that, you are currently getting for free, as a gift of me, a one-on-one session with me on top, as a gift. if you're buying in the pre-launch phase, which will last until I have the website ready for you to to look at all the details. So if that's your call, let me know and contact me. And until then, I hope you have a beautiful day. Merry Christmas and